nuclear weapon. They were dropping. They don't 45,000. They've already killed 45,000 people of their own people because they all, what do you call it?
And they've been a pest for 47 years.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, what he's doing. I know he's getting a lot of criticism for it, but you know something? He's
Talking about the Navy and all the aviators and all the incredible servicemen. We have a veteran right here, Mitch Stinson, as a guest tonight, a former Navy. I called you a Marine one time.
Yeah.
I introduced him on a comedy show one time, and I don't know who told me he wasn't a Marine, it was Navy. But anyway, a Navy aviator. Welcome, Mitch, and tell us a little bit about your career. And I find it amazing for a guy who doesn't fly, and here's a guy who's flying jets. Incredible. How did it start, and when did it start?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, my old man took me to see the Thunderbirds in Niagara Falls Air Force Base. And when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I'm like watching these guys flying, and I'm like, that's what I want to do.
How old were you?
I was like 7 or 8 years old.
That's incredible. So,
and when I get out of school, I signed up for Aviation Officer Candidate School, which is, do you ever see the movie Officer and a Gentleman?
Yes.
That's basically, yeah. So that's what I did.
Panic attack every time you go in the bathroom.
Give you a look, Billy, like he's the next Tom Cruise.
Panic attack every time you go in the bathroom.
Give you a look, Billy, like he's the next Tom Cruise, like the Blue Angel over there. Can you imagine the nerve of giving me a look like that? Did you ever fly a plane?
Listen.
He can't even fly a kite. Fuck. The nerve on you. What balls? You got balls like an elephant. Go ahead, Mitch. Shut him up, please.
I'm enjoying this too much.
No, we want to hear you. But I just can't believe that scene, that there's one scene.
Yeah, it's called the Dilbert Dunker.
And they dunk, and the kid panicked. And Lou Gossett Jr. had to jump in, and that was insane. You did that?
Yeah, so we did that, wow. and then the worst one was the helo dunker, because that's a big. They put you in like a helicopter type thing, and they dump you in the water, flip you upside down, and you have to wait to go out. Like the guy in front of you has to unhook, then you have to unhook, and then you do out. Like the guy in front of you has to unhook, then you have to unhook, and then you do it blindfold, and you're getting kicked in the face as you're swimming out of this pool.
Can you imagine doing that, Johnny? Serious, all kidding aside. Can you imagine doing that?
Joey, I have a panic attack when I take a shower. Yeah,
Well, one of the themes that I'll keep up is that don't forget you're doing this when you're only like 22, 23 years old.
That's true.
You got no fear of anything.
That's a good point. But
and at one point, like we had a guy who actually almost drowned in the pool, and they have divers right there, and they pulled him out and pumped him out just like in the movie. Got the water out of his mouth. He was back in the pool. I mean, it's like, hey, this guy will save you.
And you had no fear from it all from the start?
No, I mean. No, I did not.
Amazing.
I was never afraid of the water.
How many months is the training?
So it was 2 years of flight school.
2 years?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. From the time you go through, so you start off like in primary flight school, then you go to jet training. I went through jet training, and then I went to multi-engine training because I ended up flying E-2 Hawkeyes, which is the carrier-based AWACS off the Kennedy is where my first tour was. And then I was an instructor pilot in jets, teaching jet training and all that stuff after.
So you were on a carrier. Was there any wartime when you went?
So when I was there, that was right about the time. See, that was in the mid '80s.
Yep.
That was right about the time when Gaddafi was the bad guy. Yeah, the line of death.
And Reagan.
Reagan
took his family out.
So they had the Pan Am Lockerbie bombing, and so we were out at sea at that point. So we basically did what was called freedom of navigation exercises. So basically we went across the line of death and set up, and then they sent out a couple of MiGs after us, and we shot down the 2 MiGs.
Are you kidding me?
A buddy of mine, Herm Cook, the tapes are great of it. But yeah, so that was when I was in, and then there was a lot still, the Middle East has always been a problem.
So you had to shoot a couple of MiGs down?
I didn't personally do it.
Were you in the air when it was going?
I was not in the air for that mission. I was actually on the LSO platform, which was funny too, because when they came back, the 2 F-14s came back from shooting down these MiGs, and I'm on the LSO platform. So basically, that is you're just talking to the other pilots aboard, and so the captain of the ship goes, "On the flight deck, 2 MiG killers inbound," and these Tomcats just come ripping over the flight deck, right? And they do a big military break with a big fly up, and everybody's like, "Look at these MiG killers, these badasses." And the first guy come around, and he bolted. He missed the wires and had to go around.
That's what I was going to ask you about. On a carrier, even like landing at night. That's got to be the most. I mean, it's got to be dangerous. It's got to be difficult. I mean, think about that. You're landing on this aircraft carrier, and you don't have a lot to work with, and you got to hook up,
Right.
and you got to hook.
Right.
That's got to be one.
The
of the
nighttime is the most challenging thing you can ever do. So, like the E2 that I flew had the widest wingspan, so we didn't have any room for error.
Right.
So you touch down. If you were a little right, you'd take the nose off of F-14s and airplanes parked on that side, and then they had on the Kennedy they had airplanes parked on the left side. So you just really had no.
That's fascinating stuff. And
Isn't it amazing?
What I always wondered, Mitch, is when the plane comes in on the carrier and lands, there's a big wire that.
Yeah.
What is that? What are you laughing at?
We just talked about that.
No, the wire we're
A
talking
little
about.
wire.
No, what it,
So there's
why,
four
he's
of them.
talking about his anatomy again. No, the wire. What I want to. It looks like an elastic.
Yeah. So what it is it's a huge steel cable, like wound up like a ball of yarn, but it's all steel cable, and it's about this thick, right about that, and they're hooked up below deck to these giant hydraulic machines, right, with pistons in them. So as you pay out, the pistons get pushed against the hydraulics, and it slows it down. So as soon as you hit that wire, you're not stopping instantly. It pays out a little bit.
Right.
So you have that deceleration when you land. I mean, you believe me, you feel it as soon as you hit the deck when you catch the wire. But there's four of them. Now, I think the super carriers, now the new ones, like the Ford and the next one I believe is the Kennedy again, which is a new one, only have 3 wires. So
How many years did you actually fly these?
9
jets?
years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Do you miss it at all, Mitch?
You know, I missed the challenge of it, but going back to the 20-somethings, there were times where I just look back and I can't believe I did that.
I can't believe it. It's fascinating to me.
Now, this is a question I've always thought about. Why did you quit?
So that's a great question. So in the Navy, as an officer, you work your way up. So as a junior officer, I was a department. I started off as a branch officer, and then a department officer, or not department, a division officer, and then you go up to like the higher departments and stuff like that. So you have to hit all these marks. So you do your first 3 years out at sea, and then you do a 2-year or 3-year shore duty, and then I was looking at back-to-back sea tours, so 6 years of being at sea, not at sea the whole time, but 6-year deployment or squadrons.
Right.
So I'm like, I got 3 kids, man. I can't.
Oh, so at this time you had?
Yeah, I had 3 kids.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's good. That has to be
so
tough,
I was like, I loved it.
Yeah.
I did. I loved it, and I loved doing it. And if I didn't have any kids or whatever, I probably would have stayed in.
Wow.
I mean, that's how much I loved it. But that was my priority.
What would have been? How many years do you have to serve, Mitch, to get a pension? Is it 20?
20.
20 years. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
So I didn't get the pension.
Okay, but you could have easily. You
I'll
did
be passing around a cup later.
Can you re-enlist now and go back in?
After 9/11, I called them.
Yeah. Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah. I had been out, so that was 01. I had been out for about 8 years, and I called up the recruiting place in Buffalo. I was in Buffalo at the time, and told them, I said, hey, I'm active reserve. Do you guys need me to come in or whatever? And they're like, no, not right now. We'll see how it goes. And it just never.
Wow.
Yeah. How old were you at that time, Mitch?
So I was 01. I was 40.
Okay, so you think the age was a factor, not getting the call back?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But you never know, like, if I could go back as an instructor or whatever.
I was just going to say that. You could have been an instructor.
Or even teaching, like, simulators or whatever.
Because the money, I mean, in that department, it's got to be pretty decent money.
Well, we were making good money.
Yeah.
I mean, we were as
plus,
aviators.
When you're deployed, you get more money.
Yeah, so they give you hazardous duty pay. They give you flight pay. They give you deployment pay. So yeah, it wasn't bad money for the 80s. Yeah, I think it was like 90.
Mitch, was the Navy? Go ahead, Johnny. Were you going to say something?
No, get you.
No, is the Navy SEALs similar to the? What are you doing, Johnny? He's imitating my. I'm trying to talk serious here for once. Anyway, does the Navy SEALs? Are they flyers? Are they aviators also, or is it just?
No. That's a whole different world, really, and they so much respect for them. I knew a couple guys that went SEAL teams. Yeah, that's a different world. They're operationally different. They deploy differently. They're under a complete different command. Now they'll interact with the aviators. I mean, obviously, if especially the helo guys dropping them off and picking them up, or like what you saw in Iran now.
So none of them fly.
No, they're not pilots. No.
Right.
Right.
It is amazing because are you familiar with Sean Ryan?
Oh yeah.
What do you think of him? I think he's awesome.
So he was a SEAL guy, and he was also a CIA operative too.
That's right.
Pretty interesting.
You watch him, Johnny, at all?
Who's that?
Sean Ryan?
No, I've never heard of him.
Really?
Yeah. He has a good podcast. He's kind of like very similar to Rogan, but Rogan's more wide, diverse.
Well, I mean, Rogan never served any time.
Sean Ryan started his show so he could talk to veterans. These guys all served like 3 tours, 4 tours, 5 tours of combat. I mean, that's a whole different generation.
I think Ryan
now.
was in Fallujah, in Iraq.
Yeah.
So that was a serious battle.
Yeah.
Mitch, now I mentioned the thing about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
As a veteran, how do you feel about that?
You know, obviously I don't encourage people to be like that because to me, it doesn't make any sense. Like it's not even a protest. You know what I mean? But as a veteran, that's their right. They want to do it. Getting back to your point, though, is if it upset you that much, like the Colin Kaepernick thing was always interesting to me because if you knew that story, it wasn't about him protesting whatever he was protesting. He was pissed that he got benched.
Yeah. That's right.
That's it. So he was sulking. I remember watching it. It was a preseason game, and they noticed him. He was sulking because he got benched that year. And then and he didn't stand for the national anthem or whatever. And then like 2 games later he comes out and he goes, "Oh, I'm protesting." It's like, "No, you're not."
Somebody gave
You're
him
a
the
kid.
idea.
Somebody
gave him the idea, and
Right.
he wanted to stay relevant, and that's what they get. So he started doing that crap.
But
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's because he was benched and because he
That's
knew his
why.
future in the NFL.
Nobody will
was
admit
down the
that
toilet.
either. They'll just
Exactly.
say, "Oh, it was a brave." No, it wasn't. And here's the deal. I agree with you, and I don't talk politics too much. But if you have a problem with it, just don't. Like the NFL pisses me off for so many other different reasons too. But when that stuff's going on and I've had enough, I just stop watching.
Yeah.
And if more people did. So as a veteran, to get back to your original point, it's their right. I don't agree with it, but I don't care really.
Well, you know, I know what's.
I know what you're saying.
No, I know what's their right. Absolutely. But the bottom line is, you know, these people have given their lives and limbs for this country to give you that right. You can't take 2 minutes. Just even if you don't believe in it, just stand there, and you know.
It's not that they don't believe in the flag or the cause that these brave guys have.
Well, that's just it. So really, what are you getting to?
It's like, political.
What's the point? It's political.
It's political.
You're making
Strictly.
a point. Strictly political. You're drawing lines. I mean, at a time when the whole country's lines are drawn.
Do you notice it never happens when there's a Democrat? Never will you see a protest like this when there's a Democrat. So it's not just Trump. I've seen it with George Bush Jr., seen it with Senior. I've seen it with Reagan, although back then they didn't do the protesting in the sports like that. It was a different world.
One of the things
40 years ago.
One of the things I'm totally most proud of is I went over to Sarajevo, Kosovo, and Bosnia while I was working in the post office. And while I was gone for those 2 weeks, the post office didn't even know I was gone. So anyway, but it was...
It was an undercover operation.
Yeah, but it was one of the
That's on
most.
his resume.
It was one of the most rewarding experiences, and those soldiers over there.
Oh, it's much appreciated.
They were so appreciative.
Oh yeah.
Because then after the shows, I would sit and I'd do card tricks, and they were taking their patches off, giving me their patches.
Johnny, you did a few tours over there with on the entertainment.
Well,
didn't you?
I was supposed to go to Afghanistan. Here's the story. I was going to Afghanistan, totally all set to go, and my daughter was expecting the first grandchild, Dominic, who's now 19.
Mm-hmm.
And it was December 27th. I was going the day after Christmas. And my daughter goes, "Dad, can you stay home and for the first grandchild?" And I said, "You're right." And they were totally understanding. They said, "Yeah, no problem. We'll send you back on that." And then the company that was sending me stopped sending entertainment over because we were withdrawing troops at that time. We were withdrawing, and all the bases were small. There weren't a lot of people on the bases.
But I thought you went to a couple of different locations.
I went to Sarajevo, Kosovo, and Bosnia. I went all around.
That's what I meant.
There,
That's
They had us in a Winnebago, and we were driving through the
like
mountains.
stripes.
But it was the first time I'd seen mosque. I couldn't get over. I'm looking, and all I could see in the mountains is these these mosques. And I'm like, "What's that?" They go, "Oh, those are mosques." I go. But I couldn't get over how
Yeah,
many.
that's
I couldn't
the
get over
core
how
of-
many.
Yeah,
Were you
that's
nervous?
that was the core of the dispute, right? So it was Christian against Islam and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Were you nervous, Johnny, in that battle
No,
area?
no, you know
Only
something.
only from his own troops.
Yeah, yeah. No, one of the great things was, I called. There was a store, was a superstore there in Sarajevo, and they said everything there. The prices are phenomenal, great stuff. So one day I'm on the base, and I call up the commanding officer. I says, "Hey, can I get a ride down to this superstore? Be ready in 10 minutes." 2 Humvees showed up, all dressed up with the machine guns and
Yeah.
everything, and they gave me a, what do you call that?
Escort.
An escort.
Yeah.
And they stopped right out in front. And they said, "Take your time." And I bought a beautiful ring that I wear sometimes.
So you had escort protection all
yeah,
around?
Yeah, yeah.
Who were you out there traveling with?
I was
entertainers?
with another. It was supposed to be 2 black comedians and me. It was like an Oreo, okay, right? And so it took like 24 hours to get there. But I was in one of the airports in Germany, and I was sleeping because it was such a long thing. And all of a sudden, one of the black comedians didn't show up, but the other one was A.J. Jamal. Now, do you know A.J. Jamal? A funny guy. He was on the last season of In Living Color. He took what's his name's place.
Yeah.
And was he funny? And the thing about it was, I never realized how diverse the soldiers on the bases are. It's 70%, Afro-American black kids.
Right.
Because down south, they're all from down south. What else do they have to do? They
Right.
go in the service.
But that's what I got to be honest with you. That's what I loved about being in the service. Because,
Diversity?
oh yeah, because and then once you're in, it just doesn't matter, man. You're
Yeah.
with
You're all
the people.
brothers.
Absolutely, brothers. It's just, everybody's just for each other. There's none of that bullshit.
Mitch, what's the longest mission you ever flown?
So I could stay airborne for 6 hours without refueling, and so 6-hour mission usually off the ship was the longest one.
Were there ever times you were fear for your life as a dangerous mission?
Like all the time.
Oh no, I mean, well, that's a good answer. All the
Like
time.
every day.
Great answer.
Every
Great
day.
answer.
That's classified, right?
No, really, because I mean, the thought of that is scary.
Well, no, I think the biggest thing in Johnny was brought it up is that coming back to the ship, like in really bad weather where the ship's moving 25
Right.
30-foot seas, the ship's moving, you got rain and sleet and snow and thunder and lightning and hail,
Right.
and you're trying to get back to the ship, and you've been out, you've been in the airplane for 6 hours, and it's in the middle of the night. It can be really
like I said
nerve-wracking.
earlier, as a guy who's terrified of flying, I can't even comprehend
I
what he's done. What
I
you've
always
done.
took it as
I
like
know
a
why he's
challenge,
afraid of flying.
Yeah.
But why are you afraid of flying?
I'm a very sick man.
Okay.
I got off my ass.
No,
but
I always viewed it as a challenge, right?
But I don't underestimate. Don't undercut. That's serious stuff. Flying a jet plane and a jet fighter. That's amazing to me.
Well, I think it's the ultimate concentration. And I flew surveillance airplanes, and it's just I had crew members on. Like the worst story I ever had coming aboard. We were off the coast of Turkey, and there was a huge storm going on. The ship's moving 30 feet of seas, thunder and lightning. We'd been on a long mission, and I broke out. Now I got 5 people in my airplane, including myself. I got a co-pilot and 3 guys in the back, right, running the systems. And I break through the clouds at the last second. There's the ship. You're on instruments the whole way. Lightning's going off. It's messing up your vision. You're hearing the hail hit the airplane, and you're like, oh, God. And I broke out of the clouds, and there was the carrier. And I had vertigo so bad when I came out of the clouds and I looked and I saw the ship.
Oh.
I felt like I was upside down. Like I felt like the ship was upside down. And I'm like, I'm going to do this upside down. Like I can't believe
And now, someone who suffers from vertigo,
Yeah.
a couple of times a year, you get it regularly, or was it just that one?
No,
occasion?
that was the worst. I mean, you get it when you're flying as a pilot. You got to learn to overcome that. That's what the training's all about.
That's insane because
Well,
they just go into
That's
the
what
bathroom.
killed JFK Jr.
yeah. Unfortunately,
The verdict, well, because
Okay.
he wasn't trained enough.
I didn't hear that.
Guys, I want him to finish the story.
which one?
Enough about vertigo. You had vertigo coming out of the
yeah,
clouds,
yeah.
and continue.
Yeah, so I felt like I was upside down the whole way, and as I got in, so the guys in the back, landing signal officers, they're like pilots, right? So they know they're watching your airplane, but they're also seeing the deck move, right? So you don't see the deck move when you're flying. You're just looking at the key indicators, your meatball, your lineup, and your angle of attack. That's all we did. And as I came through the clouds, they gave me a power call, so I come up a little bit on the power, and that's when the ship pitched up. But the Kennedy had like a Dutch roll, so she kind of would go up and down, and then every now and then she'd just do one of these things, like a circle. Her ass end would swing out. Well, that does your lineup's over here. Now I'm chasing that because I don't know it's doing that.
Wow.
So they gave me a wave off, and you're in trouble when you hear the landing signals officer's voice get high, like wave off, really high, like wave it off. So I'm like, here we go. So I went to full power, and the ship was coming back as I was crossing the ramp. And I went to full power, and I saw the island, which is the captain of the ship, basically right there, coming right at me. I'm in like 20 degrees angle of bank, right over the deck. So I'm like, I could be dragging a wingtip across these airplanes, right? And I look at my co-pilot. It's like, did you ever see the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yeah,
where John Candy in the devil suit holding onto the dash. That was my co-pilot, and he's just sitting there holding on. I'm like, here we go. We got past it.
Wow. I've known you about 20 years, Mitch, and I really never think about it, what you've actually done. It makes me feel like, a boring life. I mean, that's no, I'm dead serious. It's amazing.
I agree with you. You have a boring life.
Listen to Hugh Hefner over here.
You should do the show in a bathrobe. It would look good.
Yeah, he already has enough pipes in his mouth.
Oh, jeez.
You want to bust balls, Johnny, Anyway,
you want to borrow this?
Let's not get off the. No, but I'm being all kidding aside, Johnny. I mean, the guy has led a life that's
listen.
incomprehensible.
I'm sitting here in awe. So don't
Oz?
tell me.
Oz?
No, awe.
Oh, okay. That's Paul D'Angelo giggling back there. Thank you, Paul. Anyway, no. all kidding aside, the thought of this makes me really appreciate the military. And all you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But I always said I was lucky because it was what I always wanted to do.
Right.
So I kind of got through, and I got to do what I always wanted to do. So I always felt like super lucky the whole time.
I don't think it's strictly luck. I think it's balls.
Well,
you know what I mean? And brains. I mean, it's amazing. And
I lost both.
Well, you really lost it, but with us three tonight. But so how did you transition? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so...
Wait a minute, what a question. How did you transition?
We were just talking about
only Peasy would come
losing my balls.
Here we go.
Only Peasy would come up with that
right into it.
Wow.
You're always in the
Nobody
in the closet.
said this was going to be a political show.
His mind's always in the closet.
I do want to say one thing, though, real quick, and you brought up a great point, and this is the way I feel now, is that you look at these people, these men and women over there now, doing what they're doing. I don't care what your politics are, and I'm talking to anybody who's listening. I don't care what your politics are. Those people are so dedicated and so trained and working so hard and doing the best they absolutely can, and they're performing it at a level that none of the average person can understand the intensity of the operations that they're under, the conditions of the operations, the stress. I mean, you launch and you're over enemy territory, and they can shoot at you, and if you don't see it like right away,
your life is over.
You're going down.
Your life is over.
Well, look at this mission. They got that pilot just on Easter.
And that's an incredible
amazing
thing
right?
of training. So when I went through, I did what's called SEER school. They still have it, and I don't know what it's like now. But when I went through, it was like the worst school you could ever go through because it's just like it's 2 weeks of survival, evasion, resistance, escape. So it's POW training is what it is.
Wow.
And that's what this air crew, I think it was a colonel, Air Force colonel that they got. But basically he was hiding out, going through his training and hoping that, and that's the other thing about the U.S. military, they came after him. They could have just left him there, but they came after him at high risk. So those CSAR guys, Combat Search and Rescue, are incredible people. They come in and they're taking heavy fire themselves. They're drawing fire away from the downed aviator. They're trying to get in. They're trying to get him out. It's just incredible stuff.
What did you think about
Nothing
this recovery?
Nothing could go wrong. It's got to be perfect.
It has to be perfect.
Got to be perfect.
Or pretty damn close to perfect. Yeah.
It was. They say it was miraculous that this guy was recovered.
You can use
rescued.
You can use that term because when I saw that they had rescued the first flyer, I was like, that's great, but where's the second one? Because usually, you're within a certain distance of each other. So if they got one, what happened to the other one? Because he should be right there. He should be within, especially if a helicopter's coming in for the rescue. okay, we got our first guy, the other guy's a mile over here. Well, apparently not, or he hid himself so well.
He climbed what 7,000 feet into a
7,000 feet.
He definitely did.
Now there's a you would know better than me, but there's a signal that they are able to send out so they'll know where you are.
Yeah.
But they have to be careful about when they send the signal and all that.
Right. So that's probably pre-briefed. So when you're briefing the flight and you're going into a combat situation, they'll say, if you get shot down or if you airplane goes down or whatever, you're going to turn your radio on every this interval, right? And the CSAR guys, the combat SAR guys know what that interval is, so they'll listen to it at that exact moment, and then you turn it off right away so that the enemy can hone in on it.
Right.
So that's all pre-brief stuff. That's all training stuff. All of that.
It's fascinating to me. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, it's just that when you sit there and think about it.
But he's done it.
And you know what's funny, Mitch? They liken that mission. He was shot down on Thursday, which was the day Christ was.
Friday.
Crucified, yeah.
That's Friday.
And then
thank you, Billy.
That's a
and
Friday.
they rescued him on Easter, which was the day
resurrection.
The resurrection.
So they kind of liken that.
It was a miraculous thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it really was. And at the end of the day, no matter what your politics are, when Obama was in office, and you know, John, I wasn't a fan of Obama,
right.
But when they got Bin Laden, supposedly now there's word that he really wasn't, but when they got
what do you mean he wasn't?
No,
what do you mean?
That's I triggered him. There's been rumors that he really wasn't killed. I don't know if it's true. I'm just.
Yeah, and we never landed on the moon.
Well, that's a fact.
You know, that's when people say that just drives me
John,
crazy.
Billy doesn't believe it either.
Well, because you two are crazy people.
Okay, we're going to get into this now. We have a special guest here. I don't want to get into your stupid politics.
Speaking of landing on the moon, by the way, that crew going around, Navy pilots.
That's
Navy
right.
pilots.
I was getting to that.
Can you imagine?
I was getting to that.
You were getting to this.
Stay focused.
Can you imagine, though, being in that little cockpit like the claustro? I can't even go in an elevator.
Yeah, we know.
I take the stairs everywhere I go.
And the one they're in now is like 4 times the size of what the original Apollo astronauts did. So that was like a 8-day round trip or something in a room like. I would not want to be in a crew with these guys.
And they're having toilet problems on the shot. Serious? Did you know that?
I heard it.
All the things that NASA
the
can
one
keep
thing you
secret,
don't want, right?
Why don't you keep that secret?
Yeah.
Like I don't,
they haven't.
Like there's an
did
alien
you know
base
that,
up there.
Billy, did you know that they're having toilet problems on the space? And I was thinking the other day, you ever been in your car, you're driving, and you got to go to the bathroom, and you go, I hope I make it. I hope I make it. Imagine being 75,000. Oh, I hope I make it.
We know, Joy. We've seen a few stains from that chair. We have to have a little levity. No, you're a big guy, Mitch, and you don't get any claustrophobia at all.
No, I never had claustrophobia.
Amazing.
I never,
amazing.
No.
How about you, Billy? Any?
No, never had claustrophobia. When I was a little kid, I used to close myself in little small spaces.
I did the same thing.
I used to do it all the time.
I did too. I wonder if that's why.
I'm a little caught when I'm in big crowds of people.
That's social anxiety. That's not claustrophobia.
He's got you on that.
I got you. Thank you, Mitch. The doctor spoke. See, he's frozen now. It's like one of those little raccoons when you try to hit them with a brick, they just stare at you. You ever see a raccoon, how defiant those little bastards are?
I try and avoid them.
No, but I seen one in front of my house when I threw things at him. The fucking thing just keeps staring, doesn't move.
Yeah.
You can throw a rock, they just stare.
Let me tell you
just
something.
like Johnny was just doing.
A raccoon will be careful, Johnny. Tell him a raccoon will tear your ass up.
Oh yeah,
Stay
no
away
joke.
from them.
Johnny's new name, Rocky Raccoon. But
somewhere in the Black Mountain Hills of Dakota, there lived a young boy
Mitch,
named Rocky Raccoon.
the stories you could probably tell us would take hours, but it's fascinating stuff. But I have to say, the transition from there you go, Johnny, from the Navy
to ballless.
The Navy aviator to comedy. How did you make that? Was it scary to be on stage?
You know, it's fun. That's a great question, and I'll tell you why. Not scary, but I've never had confidence on stage because I think it's a completely different thing. Like to me, it's an opposite night and day as far as stressors, right? So I didn't care about my audience. My only audience landing on an aircraft carrier was me. right? Yeah. But now I'm on stage and I'm like, I gotta pull this off with a bunch of people who, may not work.
Can you imagine a guy who flew Navy jets and he's nervous in front of a couple of?
I was lost of confidence.
That's amazing. The first time I ever met you, I worked with you down Holyoke or something.
Oh, no. I want to tell this story. I got to tell this story because this is the first time we worked together.
I had hired you for a job.
Yeah, he hired me for a job.
I didn't even know him.
We were at a Polish. That was yeah, exactly.
I think I met you through Paul.
You
Paul
introduced
recommended
us once, and yeah. So we're out of this Polish American club, way out. We were way out, like
past
in Western Mass. Yeah.
Where was it?
Western Mass.
Yes, it was past Holyoke and Chicopee.
It was
in that area.
Well, it's going to be Springfield.
Nope. It was even further. It was like towards Lee, that far out. Yeah, it was
I
way
forget
out.
that. It was
a hall.
Pittsfield, Lee. Okay.
Yeah, Pittsfield. Yes, that's where it was, Johnny.
Yeah, and it was a Polish American club, so it was great because I was fairly new to doing the whole comedy thing.
Yes.
So I go out to the show and I meet Joey there and he goes, hey, listen, he goes, just do like 20 to 25, and he goes, and then introduce me. While you're on, I'm going to go change. So the place is packed, the lights are on, people are walking around, it's just mayhem in there. And Joey says, hey man, he goes, that guy right over there, go introduce yourself to him. He's going to do a few announcements, he's going to get everything settled, all these people settled in, and he goes, and then he'll bring you up. And I said, okay. So Joey took off, and I went over and introduced myself to the guy. And he said the same thing. And like doing comedy show, our whole lives, you got to have like a good setup. You got to at least get off to a good start, right? You want people in their seats. You want the lights down. You want to sound check, the whole deal. So I go up and introduce myself to him, and he goes, hey, well, what's your last? He goes, how do you spell your last name? I said, it's Stinson, Stinson. And he's writing it down. So he's like, I'm going to go do a few announcements. And he goes, and then we'll get the lights turned down, and we'll get everybody in their seats, and we'll be good. I'm like, that sounds awesome. I said, I'll be right here, ready to go. I'm like, you weren't even out for this. And so he goes up on the stage, people walking around, lights on, no announcements, no nothing. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mitch, Stinson. That was my intro. And like there were people.
I don't even remember that, Mitch.
Yeah.
It was 2007.
It took me like 15 out of my 20 minutes just to get them in their seats.
Are you kidding? Every comic has had that problem because, you're done. You're stuck on there with just a microphone and a wall, whereas a person that's singing, they either got a band or they got tracks to blast them and shut them up. Right, Billy? I mean, you got an advantage with these guys.
In a situation like that, you say, listen, table 7, you can make your way to the buffet. Yeah. That's all you do. Just you gotta do something to distract them.
Mitch,
we had a problem with when we were doing. We had him at the North, at Paul D'Angelo at the it was Davisport Yacht Club, and he was scared to death because he was in the middle of 2 bands.
Yeah.
So he's worried about how you gonna get him, back.
Yeah.
But I did it. It's just you gotta mess with them. If you don't.
Well, you gotta tell them. You just tell people to shut up. Billy's he's brutal.
I am brutal.
Mitch, did Joey give you his customary $20 to perform?
$20, and he gave me a $2 tip for the ride.
You go.
I refuse to retaliate on a moron.
Moron! Wow!
Wow, what a nerve! I don't even know what I probably. That was a haul. I probably didn't pay you. I'm probably right, John. I probably didn't pay him nearly enough.
But I was just starting.
Yeah, and
I was literally just starting.
It was 2007 because I had just come back from my vocal surgery.
Yeah.
My first show after my throat.
You did great.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was.
I got him settled down for you.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be 19 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Joey
C-A-N-Z. Now, was that your first year doing?
No, I was a couple years into it at that point.
Okay,
yeah.
But I don't think I ever met you before that because I remember calling Paul. I remember he couldn't do it or he didn't want to drive that. You needed about $10,000 to get Paul to come down to got to Pittsfield. That's exactly where it was, though, Johnny. You were right, Pittsfield.
I can imagine asking Paul 2 hours.
That's right. No, I don't think I would. I don't even think I would do the job today in Pittsfield. But Peasy, this guy, he's all. Tell him some of the places by 11 o'clock back in Saugus.
So I leave my house at 5:30 a.m. and I'll go to Waltham, Ashland, then I go to Raynham, then I go to Bourne. Then I go to New Bedford. I go to Fall River. I come back to West Bridgewater, go to Brockton, and then it's usually about 12:30, 1 o'clock.
No, earlier than that. I've talked to him at 11 o'clock one morning, and he rattled off the places he was. I go, what? All those places, and you're back in Saugus at 11 o'clock. I don't know how he does it. It's amazing. But so how do you feel? Like, do you enjoying your comedy career, Mitch, for the last 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fun doing it.
It is fun, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, I never viewed it as like, oh, I got to go to L.A. and I got to go to New York. I just had a great time. I met some awesome people. I really enjoyed doing it. I like being around it. I enjoy the high of being on stage.
Did you go out to Buffalo, your old stomping grounds, and do perform?
Well, I did. Paul and Christine Hurley and I did a show out there. That was a fun. Did
they know you out there? Was you in an area where you grew up?
Yeah. If it wasn't for them, the place would have been. I had 100 of my closest friends I paid to come out. So
I went to a wedding in Buffalo. Trevor Hoffman. Former, he's a Hall of Famer. He married a girl from Buffalo.
Okay.
And I went to the wedding in Buffalo. It was pretty cool.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
cold.
A fun time. Yeah. Well, you know what? I live in Maine now. I think it's colder in Maine than it is.
Really?
In Buffalo. Yeah, temperature wise. Buffalo gets a lot more snow because of the lakes.
Did you live near the falls?
Yeah, I wasn't far. I was like 20 minutes from the falls.
Really?
You know that story you're telling about jumping? That's what you get when you go to Niagara Falls and you stand like, well, I don't know if you can now, but you used to be able to stand right there and watch the falls go right over, like 3 feet in front.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody who sat there, if they stayed there for just a little too long, somebody grab them and pull them back. Don't you even think about it.
He's seen the episode.
You know how many people jump off that?
I saw a girl jump.
Out of the falls?
Yeah. I never told you.
Oh, I thought he was referring to the story you told about 2 weeks ago. He told the story about 2 weeks ago, John.
About the girl?
Yeah, tell him again.
So I'm at the falls. I'm at the Canadian side.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a Starbucks coffee. The girl in front of me was like 5'11".
No way.
Daisy Dukes, high heels, skimpy little top, blonde hair, absolutely stunning. She's in front of me. Then she gets up. She orders a large caramel cafe macchiato ice, right? Large. And then I get my coffee. She goes across, and she's leaning on the fence. You know the fence? There's like a little fence, and the water's going by.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't help. I just keep on looking over. Like, wow, she's so beautiful. I turn away, Mitch. All of a sudden, somebody goes, "She jumped."
Are you serious?
Yeah, I swear to God. Listen to this. I run over, and she's dog pit. She's doing this, and she goes over the falls.
Oh.
And it's just shocking. And I looked, and her coffee, she put her coffee, didn't even finish it. I said, why did she buy a large? I don't understand.
Jesus.
So I went over and I finished
I
the
would
coffee.
have gone with the small myself.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
traumatizing.
Well, growing up there, it was on the news. Like, you know how many jumpers they had over for a while there? Like in the 70s, there was somebody going off the falls every.
Were they doing it purposely?
The police.
Yeah, just jumping.
No.
Yeah. No,
Were they doing it purposely?
What do you mean?
No, they were kidding. They were kidding.
What do you mean? I'm saying they could have had an accident.
They had a survivor.
You've had many. They could have had an accident.
I remember as a kid there was a survivor.
I talked to the mounted police, and when they came, and they said there's on an average of 7 a week. They don't put it in the papers
Yeah,
anymore.
no, they don't anymore.
Okay, and I asked what happens. The body spins.
Yeah, underneath the water.
Yeah, it just spins, and then the body breaks
Oh, but what I
apart.
mean by doing it purposely was some people want to jump and kill themselves, and then some people might have just tripped and fell.
Well, no, there's a high enough gate.
Yeah,
You'd have to literally climb over like a.
All right, so there's no way you could jump off.
You couldn't just slip and fall in.
So it has to be always.
Although on the American side, if you go up the Niagara River a little bit, it's like and not far.
Yeah.
Like maybe 100 yards.
There's no fence.
There's no
Yeah,
fence.
yeah, there's
so
no
you can
fence,
literally
yeah.
go right up, and the rapids are right there.
So that's my point. You think some of the
some of them are
fatalities
accidents.
were accidents?
Some of them are accidents that way, but there's a lot of jumpers.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
They have, you know what it is, Joey? They have no guns. There's a gun law. There's no guns. So when they're going to commit suicide,
Are you kidding me?
they go to.
There's
they
no
go
guns
there's
in
no guns
Buffalo?
In Canada.
Oh, really?
That's why in Canada. That's why they go on the Canadian side.
I never knew that. Did you know that, Billy? No gun laws.
Well,
No, there's
because
no
they're like
guns.
the
They're
United
not-
Kingdom. They're like
Yeah,
England.
they're not allowed. There's no guns allowed.
I heard the police don't even have guns in the United Kingdom.
That's right.
Is that true?
They have a whistle.
They got
Yeah.
guns.
Stop! I say,
That
well,
works
blow
out
me
well.
whistle.
Yeah, imagine that.
They got guns.
They
believe
do.
me. Oh yeah. Yeah.
In the UK?
Of
Canada.
Of course.
In the UK.
Oh.
Oh, they have them in Canada too, man.
The military has guns, and so does law enforcement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't walk around the streets with it holstered.
But you can't.
But let me tell you something. They get well. They also got like another unit that's always nobody knows where they are, loaded to the gills. They're not going to get caught with their pants down.
Like a SWAT team kind of thing.
And they're rapid response.
Right.
And in England, prostitution is legal.
There you go.
All you need is a license. That's the job I want, the guy that gives out the licenses. I'm sorry you flunked the oral part of the exam. You can take it again.
What kind of show did you bring me on?
I know, Mitch. I feel we went from Navy aviator to prostitutes in England or wherever, London. But no, all kidding aside.
Did you ever think about being a commercial pilot?
So that was the big thing when
when I
got out of the service. So all my friends did, and I never had a desire for it. I mean, they live out of suitcases. I mean, don't get me wrong; they make good money. It was a hell of a career. I saw the transition coming though, because everything was going automated. So like this is like 94, somewhere around 94, 95. You could see how everything was changing, and the industry was changing. The airline industry was changing completely. It's just a cattle call now. But you remember, like when you got on an airplane in the 70s and 80s, it was a little bit of a special thing. There was no TSA, no nothing. Right. You go in, sit down. You walk in, sit down on the airplane. There was more room on the airplane. I mean, it was a better experience. And then I just saw it coming, and I'm like, I don't want to live out of a suitcase. I don't want to be gone all the time because I get out of service for my kids. So now I'm going to be gone 24 days out of the month. That's how often they're gone.
Yeah.
So you did consider it?
Oh yeah,
commercial.
The money was killer.
That's a good question, John. You beat me to that one.
Yeah. The nowadays there are not enough pilots.
I know.
I mean, they're canceling flights because there's no pilots.
So when I got out of the service in the mid '90s, that was the end of the Reagan. So when Ronald Reagan took over the presidency, he built up the 600 ship Navy. He built up the Air Force. So there were a ton of pilots in the pipeline, and they all flooded and became airline pilots. Well, they're all my age, right? They're all retirement age, so they're all starting to retire now, and they haven't had that kind of numbers going in since then.
Right.
So there's a shortage, but now the kids can fly them from their living room.
Do you have faith in the pilots today? I mean, with all this, with everything that's going on, the TSA and the experience of the pilots.
That's a really good question. The standards have changed, so I don't know how to answer that without maybe getting into trouble.
Yeah, right. We don't want any trouble.
No, I don't want any trouble. But
it's classified.
It is classified.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're well trained and the systems are good. Now the systems are so automated that they're more. I got to be careful.
Well, they
don't fly the airplane as much as they used to. Like when I went through flight school, man, I was all in the controls.
Right.
Nowadays, these guys set
when
their
they come in,
systems.
Right? They get it. The computer takes over.
Well, the computer does most of.
There's a word for it when they hit. There's a thing.
Well, they do an ILS approaches, and they couple up to the system on the deck, and then they can fly all the way to touchdown now, which you could never do when I was in. But these guys the technology's changing so much. It's all screens.
Think of all the flight attendants you could have had.
Back in the 70s and 80s, yes. Have you seen the flight attendants lately?
Oh, I know.
Notice how Johnny always has to bring us down to
There's
that level.
There's still some very good-looking, beautiful
smut.
flight attendants.
No,
but
he's right.
I mean, even the tracking systems for your guide for your targeting. And now everything is so sophisticated.
I couldn't even relate to what they're doing now.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if you do the math, I think about it. So when I was flying, I'm the same distance from these guys now as when I was in the World War II pilots landing on straight deck carriers. Like they were looking at us like we were flying space age shit, which we were. Now I look at the guys that are flying now and gals flying now, and I'm like, I can't even send a text message without fucking it up. So.
Yeah, it's amazing though. I mean. They're targeting and locking onto people that are 10 miles out.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
10 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was pretty phenomenal when you were in a dogfight. Your targeting was in your eyesight. Wherever you looked, you could lock on radar.
I mean, they're locking them on like 100 miles out. They're
really
100.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the integrated systems now. Right?
That's right, because if
a ship over the horizon can pick out your target, they're communicating, or this AWACS over here is picking something up. They're communicating, and they're all integrated and connected. The joint operations now is so different than when I'm literally a dinosaur.
So how fast did you? What was the top speed you ever went in a plane?
I think it was right around 500 knots, somewhere around there. I didn't go supersonic. My airplane didn't go supersonic.
What would 500 knots be in miles per hour?
Ask Jethro Bodine over there.
Pretty close. Pretty close to 500 miles an hour. 520. There's a conversion, down on the deck, ground speed versus
Can't even ask a serious question with this boob.
But you've never done like Mark V.
No, I never flew those kind of airplanes. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Could you get into one of these planes today, Mitch? And how long would it take you to? You could. It would take a little bit.
It would take a lot. It would take these right here.
Do it. The whole damn bit is hysterical. I love that. That's so cool.
That's the one I posted?
The one you posted is hysterical.
No, but it's fascinating stuff. I mean, like I said earlier, for someone who doesn't like it, doesn't have any interest in flying, Johnny flies more than anybody, I think, and you're all over the place.
I always felt really fortunate. That's what I tell people. I was really lucky because I got to do what I wanted to do. And every time I went through a certain stage of training, I was like, ooh, I cheated him again. I get a little bit further, right? Because I started out.
You fooled him again.
I fooled him again. And I'll tell you why, because I know for a fact that some of the people that didn't make it were some pretty highly qualified people. And there were a lot of reasons why, but when I started out, my first class in the officer and gentleman class was there were 72 of us started the class. 16 weeks later, there was only 28 of us left.
Wow.
And out of all those 28 people that graduated that part of it who went on to flight school, I was the only one out of that 28 that became a carrier aviator, flying off aircraft carriers. A lot of them went P-3s and C-130s and helicopters. I was the only one. And if you had told me that, like day one when I walked in and said, see all these 72 people, if somebody had said only one of you is going to fly off aircraft carriers, I'd have been like, I'm going home now because it ain't going to be me. I don't have that kind of luck.
Well, I don't think it's luck what you've accomplished, Mitch. I think it's in a little.
I apprecie it.
It's not just luck.
I appreciate that.
So for someone like myself, anyways, I think it's amazing.
No, thank you.
Amazing.
I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun doing it.
The training alone, it must have been something.
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
I
mean, you got somebody that could help you with it. He's written about 22 books.
Yeah.
Paul D'Angelo.
It was funny because we were talking about
your mentor.
My mentor, and I shout out to my mentor, and he's a reason why I'm here tonight. I mean, I'm very fortunate, but yeah. I mean, I've thought about I was talking about it. I was very excited to be here. This means a lot to me, so thank you for having me. But I was thinking, I should tell some good stories, like some stuff I haven't told in a while. So I was thinking about them as I was riding down, and I'm like, man, I got a lot of them I could really
we need about 3 hours then.
Yeah.
We need about 3 hours.
You can continue.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. With all the stories you got, I'm fascinated with. So I love it. Continue.
Well, I mean, if I can't think of any right now.
No, but it's
yeah.
Go ahead. What was you gonna say?
No, I was just saying you were asking about flight school, and I mean that was probably the most stressful time.
That's the part that amazes me. Just by watching the movies.
Were you married at that time?
Yeah, I was. I was married.
So you got married young. You got married
young.
I
did. And and my wife, who's no longer with us, she was awesome, and she hung with me a long time. But we were so young, and I was gone. So we ended up we only stayed married for about 11 years, but we were very good friends for the rest of our life. She's the mother of my kids, and but it was hard. It was really difficult on the family. It was. I mean, when you go to take your very first carrier landing. Like you've never done it before, you don't go with an instructor. The first time you go, you're by yourself. I mean, you get led out to the ship in formation, but the first time you land on a carrier, that's the first time you've seen it. And when you show up and you've been used to, like, all your flight training up to that point has been in an airfield,
right?
And then you're flying formation out, and they say, okay, the ship's in sight, and you look down and you go, oh shit. What am I doing? Because it's like this big, you know what I mean? Like
if somebody loses a plane, what type of retribution do they get? What punishment? What do they get?
So it depends. It depends on the situation, right? So a lot of times, they do a full investigation, and it's a very, very deep investigation. So if there's pilot error, they say, well, what kind of error? Like, in other words, did you make a misjudgment and this? But a lot of times, if you make an error, they sit there and they go, you can't, you know. So you know, I knew a guy who he come in one night, and I was on the landing signal officer platform, so I was standing out there, and we're getting ready to wave him aboard the ship, and it was a bad night out, and the kid was in a Tomcat. And he came in, and as he came in, his lineup got all messed up. And that's super important because, you know, you got to get right in the middle of the flight deck. And he made a big, huge correction for his lineup right at the last second. And the guy that was waving him didn't get the call. Right. So he ended up hitting like 4 or 5 airplanes. His wing took off like 3 or 4 noses of airplanes. He went airborne, so he went to full afterburner. He knew he was in big trouble. He went to full afterburner, straight up in the air. He didn't have control of the airplane. And that's when the call came, eject, eject, eject. So I'm on the flight deck. It's pitch black out, and all I see is 2 afterburners going straight up in the air, full afterburner. And I hear eject, 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 and you can hear it. It's like, and you see the chutes come out, right? So they're coming down, but I'm watching this airplane, and it's right above us, in full blower, straight above us, and it does a hammerhead stall and just starts coming down in full afterburner. So I'm like, oh my God, this thing's going to take us out on the second pass coming down this way. And it landed right next to the ship and threw water over all of us. The craziest thing, this memory haunts me, is when it hit the water, it was in full afterburner coming down, and when it hit the water, you could hear, it hits the water, and you hear thump, thump, and then dead silence, because the water snuffed out the engines.
Right.
And then the water's splashing down. And it's so eerie, you know.
The pilots escaped.
They both got out okay. But my original point is so in his case, he had been struggling at the ship at night, which is the hardest part, and he had been struggling, so he never flew again. Yeah, they did a board on him, and they decided, no, you can't
really
fly anymore. Yeah,
it's not that unusual to be someone traumatized like that.
Yeah, well, that's part of it too. So how does it affect you psychologically? All
exactly.
That stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's all psychological. Do you feel as well? Was there a lot of politics involved in your?
There could
craft?
be. There could be. There could be a lot. Well, yeah, because once you got into the promotion cycle and all that stuff, there was a lot of politics that went on. So you had to kind of learn to play that game a little bit.
Can you think of one incident where, oh my God, this is it for me. I'm done.
Yeah.
I am done. I'm going to the
I was teaching a cruise formation flight. We were in a couple of Buckeye two trainer jets, and there was an instructor and a student, and I'm an instructor and a student, and we're sitting in the back, the 2 instructors. So we're doing cruise formation. So that's basically, it's like a combat spread type thing, and it's a high G maneuvering. So you don't use your power. You just use a stick, and then you use the G to kind of vary how close you stay with a guy. And the drill is you do 270 degrees worth of turn, and then you do a parade rate of roll the opposite way. It would give your wingman a chance to kind of to follow along and make the corrections. Well, the student of the guy that we were following, he's literally gets about halfway through the turn, and he just turns the other way right away, and we were right here. So he just turns and we were canopy to canopy, and my student had slid up. He's supposed to be a little bit below him. He had slid up. It all happened like that, and I'm like, this is it. That split second in my head, I'm like, this is going to be just a giant fireball over Meridian, Mississippi. And I took the stick because we had dual controls in the back, and I just remember jamming the stick ahead as hard as I could, and we just missed each other.
Wow.
I could see the rivets of the other airplane going
wow.
on. Yeah.
Wow.
So we called, that was it. The other instructor pilot, who was a combat vet from the Desert Storm, and he had been shot at by missiles. This guy, Tuck, he was on the other airplane. He just looks at me and he goes, we're done. And we went back to the base, and we went right to the club and just sat there for about 6 hours just getting loaded.
Wow.
How do you deal with something? Is there any post-traumatic emotions with something like that, even though you didn't get but that close?
I think, well, they teach you to compartmentalize a lot. That's a huge part of the training, is you just got to put shit in the right box. Once it was over, we figured out what the mistake was, and I'm like, aha, we'll never do that again. You know what I mean? And then it's gone. You just wash it out.
Most of this is mental preparation.
It's a lot of preparation, and it's a lot of, and again, you're young, right?
Yeah.
So most of
Invincible.
and most of the shit now, like the stories that I think of now, I'm like, it makes me shudder because I'm like, God, I was that stupid. You know what I mean? Like 25
Well,
years
that's
old
why they
doing that.
drafted 19.
Well, that's why they want younger
17,
people
18,
doing
back
it.
when all the world was. And
Yeah.
you think they're going to tell you, Johnny, at your age, go over that hill and shoot. You're going to tell him to go fuck himself. The 19-year-old kid, yeah, let's go, right?
Yeah, there's a lot to that.
There's a lot of the focus on a young kid. There's the focus, the reflexes, the concentration.
100%.
I mean,
Stamina, all that stuff.
All of that comes into play, especially flying it and under the stress of combat.
Right.
Forget about
And,
it.
and that's
crazy.
why they go for the young kids. I mean, it's common sense.
I do want to take this time to say this. So from pilot to comedian, if you haven't seen Mitch, he's a terrific comedian. But one of the things I do want to say right now is Mitch is doing something right now that is amazing to me, rewarding and incredible. Mitch takes care of his mom. Who's got dementia, right?
Well, yeah, her memory's starting to go for sure.
I live that with my mom.
And so that's so incredible, and I give you so much.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's really that's difficult stuff.
I got to start writing jokes about it now because I mean you got to laugh. You got to laugh. So.
Yeah, you try to find all my life. That's all I've ever done is try to find humor.
You have to.
Absolutely. Laughter is everything. And we get the best right here. Paul D'Angelo, none better than the great Paul D'Angelo in the New England, my opinion, one of the best in New England. Could be the best in New England as far as I'm concerned. Paul, thanks for coming a second week in a row. We're going to have him on soon, hopefully, if we can squeeze him to come on.
Then I'm going to go over and then I'm going to go over and make faces at him while he's doing it.
Was he doing that to you?
No.
And this is the quietest I've
friend.
ever seen Paul.
He's a good friend.
Oh, he was here last week too. He was fine.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying for him to just sit there and I even
We've been
say,
friends for over
we probably
20
put him to
years.
sleep.
He's always
We
been
could have put him to
supportive
sleep.
of me.
That's a great episode.
No, Paul, my opinion, I've been following. I met Paul 32 years ago in 1994. And I tell this story every time someone asks me, how long have you known Paul? How'd you meet him? I was singing at a place called Capone's in Peabody.
Oh, yeah.
And an old girlfriend of mine hung out with his girl at the time. And I'm going to come and see you tonight at Capone's with my friend and her boyfriend, Paul D'Angelo. I go, who the fuck is Paul D'Angelo? I didn't know who he was. That's how far back I go, Paul. We've been friends since.
Well, I've known him for 40 years.
Well, poor bastard. But no, Mitch, this was absolutely. I could do another 3 hours talking about this. I'm not dead serious. As I told you for the third time, I find this fascinating because I'm afraid of heights, and he's flying jets. So
I appreciate it.
But on that being said, we have something to plug. Billy, you want to go ahead for this Saturday night?
Absolutely, yes, we have.
Show your face.
I didn't want to show it, but
show your face.
This is my ugly mug. This Saturday.
We got to look at it. Why don't anybody else have to look at it?
It's the best sweatshirt.
April 11th, this Saturday, we are having at Rosaria in Saugus, Massachusetts, a fundraiser to benefit the Doug Flutie Foundation for Autism. We want you guys to come out. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please get your tickets. Online, you can just scan the QR code that's on the ads that we're running on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all of those. Just scan that, and it's a Venmo account. It goes right directly into the account. Every penny goes to the foundation. We're keeping absolutely nothing. There are a lot of places that do fundraisers, and they'll get
they take a percentage.
They take 20. They give 20% to the foundation, and they keep the rest for themselves. That's not happening here. Every penny, every dime goes directly to the foundation.
We have a memorabilia table.
Yes, I was getting there.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm the only one on the camera, so that's why. Shut up. No, I'm just kidding. No. Anyways, so we're going to have a memorabilia table. We're going to be doing silent auctions as well as a live auction with some things that we have there. We're having a 50-50. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of great stuff. We are probably going to be going live as well here for Straight Up Talk Boston, doing some interviews with some of you people. And if you haven't gotten your tickets now, you're missing out. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great time. We're entertained. Their entertainment is going to be family affair, great sound, great energy. You'll love to dance to them. They have a great following as well. Please get your tickets at $35. Scan the QR code, or you can call me at 617-800-6379, and you can come. You can buy them at the door. So if you're one of those people that wants to wait till the last second, yeah, you can get them at the door. We're not turning anybody away. We really want to give autism a good punch in the face, plain and simple. So let's get out. Come on out. It starts at 7:30. The doors open at 6:30. So it's going to be a great time. Don't miss out. We got some surprises as well. So that being said, gentlemen, we're about to sign off. Mitch, you have been an incredible,
awesome.
Thank you.
Incredible,
Thank you,
guest.
Mitch.
Great interview.
Appreciate it.
Fascinating interview.
You know, I mean, with everything that's going on right now and all the sorties that are being flown,
Amen.
You know, I mean, to have you here and explain what it actually entails. The general public has no clue.
The timing couldn't have been more perfect
It's unbelievable.
for this weekend and Mitch here tonight.
I planned it that way.
You can't even plan Parenthood. That was a joke.
Yeah.
Johnny got 3 beautiful kids and grandchildren. How many you got, Johnny? 3?
Yes.
And Billy, how many you got?
I got 11.
Okay.
11. So
Anyway.
we're keeping the planet populated. Anyways, so we love you. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Billy.
And Paulie, thank you for being our audience over here. You're the best. And we're gonna sign off right now. We love you to death.
Before you do, Billy,
Go ahead.
where is Paul? You anywhere today and this weekend we can?
Mitch and I are together both nights.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Friday night we're in
Woburn or-
Woburn Elks, and then
The Woburn Elks. I'm very big at the
Burlington,
Woburn
then
Elks.
the Burlington VFW.
Friday night, Mitch and
Elks
Paul
are
at the
big.
Woburn. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Friday night, Woburn Elks, Mitch and Paul D'Angelo. Saturday night, Burlington?
Burlington VFW.
Burlington
I think,
VFW.
yeah.
If you get a chance to go out and see these
They're
guys,
both
do it.
fundraisers. They're both fundraisers.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're doing to raise
Yeah.
money.
And if you're
So-
not doing nothing, come over to the Rosario later on at night. We'll be there till at least 11 o'clock, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
At least, yeah.
No, Peasy won't be there till 10.
We're gonna try as much as we can. Wow, he's
Oh, shit.
cracking them tonight.
Oh, he started it. Mr. Testosterone over there. That's his new name, Mr. T.
With all that being said,
Johnny T.
guys,
Take us home.
We love you so much. Come on out. Straight Up Talk Boston every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Don't miss us.
Go ahead,
Right here
Johnny.
on YouTube Live. Also on Facebook. We love you. God bless you.